What do you do when your dream home becomes a battlefield? The moment I stepped into my new house on Maplewood Lane, I felt the weight of a fresh start. The air smelled of pine and possibility, and the small, sunny plot of land behind the house was mine to shoppy garden. A sanctuary, a place to rebuild after years of struggle. But before I could unpack the last box, Karen, the HOA president, stormed in like a hurricane, claiming my backyard wasn't mine at all. Her voice, sharp as a blade, cut through the quiet afternoon. "This land belongs to the community," she declared, pointing to a survey map I'd never seen. My heart sank, but my resolve hardened. This wasn't just about dirt and grass, it was about my home, my peace, my right to belong. I'd moved to Willow Creek seeking refuge. After a messy divorce and a job loss that left me reeling, the modest two-bedroom house was my chance to start over. The backyard, with its wildflowers and open space, was where I planned to plant roses, maybe even a vegetable patch, to nurture something that could grow alongside me. I spent weeks imagining it, sketching plans on napkins, dreaming of quiet evenings under the stars. But Karen had other ideas. She was a force of nature, stocky, loud, her words dripping with authority. As president of the Willow Creek Homeowners Association, she wielded her gavel like a scepter, and the neighborhood bent to her will. The day after I moved in, she knocked on my door, her perfume overwhelming, her smile more threat than welcome. "We need to talk about your property line," she said, thrusting a crumpled map into my hands. The map showed my backyard sliced in half, marked as community green space. I laughed, thinking it was a mistake. Karen didn't laugh. The survey map was old, faded, and suspiciously convenient. I spent that evening poring over my deed, the title documents, the county records I'd carefully filed. Everything confirmed what I knew: the land was mine, purchased fair and square. The seller had walked me through every inch of the property, pointing out the oak tree where I could hang a swing, the corner where the soil was perfect for roses. Yet Karen insisted the HOA had rights to it, claiming a decades-old agreement gave them control over excess land for community use. "It's for the greater good," she said, her eyes gleaming with something like triumph. I called the county office the next morning, and the clerk's confusion mirrored mine. "There's no record of any HOA claim on your lot," she said. Armed with facts, I approached Karen again, expecting an apology. Instead, she doubled down. "You're new here," she snapped. "You don't understand how things work." Her words lit a fire in me. I wasn't just new, I was someone who'd fought too hard to let this go. I'd lost enough already: a marriage, a career, a sense of security. This house, this land, was my line in the sand. I started digging deeper, talking to neighbors who whispered about Karen's reign. There was Tom, a quiet retiree who'd been fined for painting his mailbox blue. Sarah, a single mom, had been pressured into removing her kid's swing set because it clashed with the neighborhood aesthetic. The HOA, led by Karen, wasn't just strict, it was a machine that crushed individuality. But no one had ever challenged her. I decided I would. I spent nights researching property law, HOA regulations, and state codes, my kitchen table buried under papers and coffee mugs. The more I learned, the clearer it became. Karen's claim was a power grab, not a legal right. Then came the twist that shook me. While sifting through old HOA meeting minutes I'd requested from the county, I found a bombshell. Karen's own property had a similar dispute years ago. She'd fought for and won a slice of her neighbor's land. citing the same vague community use clause she was now using against me. The hypocrisy stung. Karen wasn't just enforcing rules, she was bending them to build her empire. 1 yard at a time. I felt a surge of anger, but also clarity. This wasn't just my fight anymore. It was about stopping a bully who'd been unchallenged for too long. I called a lawyer, a sharp woman named Lena who specialized in property disputes. "You've got a case," she said, her voice steady. "But Karen won't go down easy." The confrontation came faster than I expected. A week later, Karen and 2 HOA board members showed up at my door with a contractor in tow, ready to erect a fence through my backyard. I stepped outside, heart pounding, clutching my deed and the county's letter confirming my ownership. "This stops now," I said, my voice louder than I felt. Karen's face twisted, her cheeks flushing red. "You're making a mistake," she hissed, gesturing to the contractor to start measuring. The board members, a nervous man named Greg and a woman who avoided my eyes, shuffled uncomfortably. I held up the documents, my hands steady despite the adrenaline. "This is my land," I said, "and I'm not asking, I am telling you to leave." The contractor hesitated, glancing between us. Karen's voice rose, shrill and commanding, accusing me of disrupting the community, of being an outsider who didn't belong. Her words cut, but they didn't break me. I'd heard worse in my life, and I'd survived. The standoff in my yard drew neighbors out of their homes. They stood on porches, watching as Karen's tirade grew louder, her gestures wilder. I felt the weight of their eyes, a mix of curiosity and fear. This was the moment: either I'd fold, or I'd fight. I chose to fight. "You're not taking my land," I said, stepping closer, my voice calm but unyielding. "And I'm not stopping here. I'm serving you eviction notices for every illegal claim this HOA has made." Karen laughed, a harsh, barking sound, but I saw a flicker of doubt in her eyes. I'd spent the last week preparing, working with Lena to draft notices not just for my property, but for every neighbor Karen had strong-armed. The HOA's records were sloppy, filled with inconsistencies, and Lena had found enough to challenge their authority. I handed Karen the first notice, a legal document demanding the HOA retract its claim or face court. The crowd murmured, and I felt the tide shifting. Greg, the nervous board member, stepped back, his clipboard slipping. The other, Ellen, whispered something to Karen, who waved her off. "You think you can scare me?" Karen spat, but her voice cracked. I didn't answer. Instead, I turned to the neighbors, holding up the stack of notices. "This isn't just about my yard," I said. "It's about all of us. How many of you have been fined, bullied, told you can't live the way you want? We can stop this." Silence fell, heavy and electric. Then Tom, the retiree, stepped forward. "She fined me for my mailbox," he said, his voice shaking but firm. Sarah joined him, her eyes fierce. "My kids deserve their swings set." One by one, others spoke up, their stories spilling out like a dam breaking. Karen's empire began to crumble. The contractor packed up and left, unwilling to work under legal scrutiny. Greg resigned from the board that evening, citing personal reasons. Ellen followed, leaving Karen isolated. The HOA's next meeting was chaos. Neighbors packed the room, demanding transparency, voting to dissolve the board. Karen fought back, her voice hoarse from shouting, but the numbers were against her. Lena filed a lawsuit on behalf of me and 6 other neighbors, citing years of fraudulent claims and mismanagement. The court was swift. The HOA's claims were deemed baseless, and my land, every inch of it, was mine again. Karen was ordered to pay restitution to multiple families. Her reputation shattered. She moved away a month later. Her house sold quietly. Her reign over Willow Creek a fading memory. Standing in my backyard now, I feel the earth beneath my feet, solid and mine. The roses I planted are starting to bloom, their petals soft against the evening light. I think about the fight, the fear, the moment I decided to stand up. It wasn't just about a patch of land, it was about reclaiming my voice, my place, my right to build a life without someone else's shadow over it. To anyone reading this, know this: your home, your dreams, your fight, they matter. Don't let anyone take what's yours. Stand tall, dig deep, and fight for what you believe in. The victory isn't just in winning, it's in knowing you didn't back down.